Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights. All right, we are back here on Bayou Time. Very pleased to have with us the very talented musicians and singers, and they've been inducted into the Gretna Hall of Fame. And certainly PBR is a band that everybody's familiar with. And with us today is Brian Zarang, and of course everybody very familiar with Brian, great vocalist, guitar player. And also with us today is Corey LaBeouf. He's a drummer and vocalist for PBR. And Jody Nakant, a lot of you familiar with him also. He plays bass and does vocals in PBR. So first of all, congratulations. We know Persian's under the weather today, and Rich is working for a living. So he's on the road in this in this very bad weather.
Indeed.
So thank you all for coming. And Brian, I'll let you. Brian, this has got to be an honor for you because your dad and your brother were inducted.
Correct.
So just tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, Dwayne and I went back to, I played on the Westbank for a long, long time. We were the house band at the Moulin Rouge for almost 10, 12 years with a band called Bourré, and which was musicians from this end, Dennis Foray, Oris Petrie, Jason Parfait. So we started a long time, and I was inducted at the same time my brother Dwayne was. Because we started back playing with Way Down South, which was originally a family band. We started playing back on the West Bank and on that area, and then Daddy came along and we inducted Daddy too. So all three of us were inducted into the West Bank Musicians Hall of Fame.
So you were inducted before as an individual or with that band?
Matter of fact, me and Gazette, Mark Dufresne, we were inducted at the same time into it.
So you can be inducted twice on different bands?
Well, that wasn't a band. This was individuals. Because they do individuals. Okay. We actually the second band to get inducted. The first band was last year. That induction was with Good Feelings.
Yeah.
They were the first band as a band to be inducted to the West Bank Musicians Hall of Fame. We as PBR Plus was the second band. So other than that, it's normally, they just started that. Normally it's just the individual musicians. And you have to be from the West Bank or along the Bayou. On the west bank of the river.
So they make you play a few songs after?
You can. There's a list. You put your name down and what songs and stuff you want to do, and then you can get up. The induction's done first, normally around 11 o'clock. They do all the inductions. After that, Ryan Foray and Foray Tradition will play, and then they'll bring up the musicians one by one who wants to go up and play. And if you want to play an instrument, the instruments are there. You can also play an instrument and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I imagine y'all jumped up there.
Well, we did the whole band. Matter of fact, Ryan came on, opened up. Lil Fats Jackson, he was inducted. So he played with Ryan and them, and then when he finished, we set up and then we played.
Okay. Yep. So it could be a jam session or the band.
Right, that's correct. It's pretty much a jam session. But with this time, you had Nelson Blanchard from Piedport. Nelson was inducted. Rhonda Dupree from Houma. Yeah. She was inducted, and those two played with us. So they came up. Matter of fact, Nelson did the whole time slot that we had. Nelson did the whole thing with us. Yeah.
Nelson's been on the road with LaRue for a long time.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, he's very technical minded also.
And very talented. Plays more than one instruments too.
Yeah, no doubt. And Corey, let's come to you. How long you been playing drums?
40 years.
Oh yeah. How'd you get started?
Beating on everything in sight.
Were you one of those kids that walked by the refrigerator and had the tap on it?
Yeah. I started playing drums. I'm 53, so I started playing drums at about 4 or 5. Started playing professional at 13.
Really?
So it's 40 years this year professionally.
You know, most drummers, I say this in a funny way, they got a little too much energy. Sometimes they always got to be doing something or moving their hands or whatever. When did you know that you were cut out to be a drummer?
I did nothing else. That's all I did.
Yeah.
Play drums. So it was very, very early age.
But did your mom or your dad see this in you? Did they play?
No, none of my family played.
That's unusual.
Just recently, some of my relatives are just starting to get out and play more now. Now that I came along and they see it's a profession,
Yeah.
so they want part of the action, so they want to do it also.
Yeah, but when did you know you had it?
Probably about 12 or 13 years old when I started playing professional.
And you just picked up the beat and you were able to
Yeah.
pick up tempos.
Actually, at that time, when I was 13, 14 years old, my mom and my dad signed a minor's release. Back then, you was able to do that. And I played with Terry and Mike Fungi.
Okay, yeah.
So I had 2 police officers on stage with me at all times.
That's right. That's right. You could play in the ballrooms if your parents signed off.
Right. So
Yeah.
what was better way to do it when you had 2 police officers on stage with you?
Right.
So you were protected all the way
Telling
around.
you don't mess up, boy.
Right.
But that's unusual to not have, because Brian had music all around him. And
Right.
you just sort of picked it up on your own.
Right. Actually, I met Brian 30 years ago.
30 years
I
ago.
was a drummer for Trita, still a drummer for Trita.
Yeah.
And I would go see Brian play locally
Trita's been around forever,
a
too.
long time. I started with Trita in 1990.
Wow.
Yeah. Still playing with them every once in a while. They'll come out.
They've been around so long, I was going to say 1890, but it's 1990.
Then
Good band.
Just like with Brian, I'm also a 2-time Hall of Famer.
Really?
Right.
So you went in individually before?
Individually. Last year I was inducted, then I was inducted again this year with PBR Plus.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll find out Jody's story right after we take a short break. Don't go away.
At South Louisiana Bank, we're great at banking, but we're great at a lot of other stuff too.
Is that a new rod and reel?
Hey, a girl's got a fish.
We care about the community we live in and the people we serve. We're not just like you. We are you.
Are you boiling crawfish?
No, just letting them soak.
We're proud to be here and work for the place and the people we love. South Louisiana Bank. It's in the name.
All right, we are back, and we're talking about PBR being inducted into the Westbank Hall of Fame. And we have 3 of the members here, 2 of the members, Pershing Wells, and of course, Richard Toops. Rich is working and Pershing's under the weather today, but I did feature Pershing on of course, Mr. Jack King passed away, and
Yes.
Pershing used to have him in his studio
Sad to hear.
to do his stories and all that in his songs. So that was pretty cool to see.
It was.
All right, Jody, let's come to you. Jody Knockham. How long have you been playing, Jody?
I started picking up guitar, I guess, around the age of about 7. My brother had an acoustic guitar. The thing was huge. It came from Western Auto, of all places. And,
Wait, you bought a guitar from Western
a
Auto.
Western Auto acoustic
big.
guitar. The strings were about a half an inch off the fretboard on that thing.
At least you didn't say S&H green stamps.
Well, yeah, right. But I learned to pick a few things. My brother would pick around on the guitar some, and took an interest in it. And I remember having to lay that thing in my lap because it was too big, because the neck on it was about 6 inches wide. It felt like from the size of my hands. And I learned to play Secret Agent Man was one of the first songs I learned to pick out on the guitar. I had to lay it in my lap and play it with my thumb because it was too big for me.
Secret Agent Man.
Yeah, so
that was a cool
Just
song.
learn to imitate what I heard on the record, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But, like a lot of people take guitar lessons when they're young, but I'm sure the instructors are going, got it, don't got it.
Yeah.
When did you realize, hey, I could progress here?
Well, kind of self-taught on the guitar learning. Like I said, imitate what I heard on records and on songs that I liked. And just picked it up from there, playing it by ear, and was able to pick it up and just keep it going and started playing in a band when we were in junior high school, 13, 14 years old, and played with a lot of school friends and just kind of progressed from there and still doing it and enjoying it today.
Well, some people go by music theory and they learn the whole theory, and some people sort of wing it. Did you ever learn theory, or you just sort of played it?
I just play what I know and what I've learned to imitate.
So your theory is what you picked up and what you know to be music.
Right.
And it worked out well.
Yeah, I guess it has.
Yeah, pretty good. Hall of Fame.
Been fortunate for it.
Yeah, it
sure.
worked out Hall of Fame well, you know.
Yeah.
And were you surrounded, like you said, your brother played, but like Brian, he had music influence. Corey had none. What about your influences? Did a lot of your friends play too?
Some local school friends. We started out kind of like a guitar mass for church at Annunciata Church with some friends. Father Glenn LeConte and I used to play music back in the day.
And he
Mickey
played.
Email, David Bro, and John Hebert was our first band in high school called Erie. And, we played a lot of weddings, and back in the day it was adult dances that we would call it.
Yeah.
And every Saturday night it was a BYOL thing, and we weren't even old enough to drive the band trailer, so we had to get our parents to drive the trailer for us and go set up and go play, and they drive us all back home, but we just weren't old enough to drive
I
yet.
got to laugh about Father Glenn because I did a one-on-one with him, and I told him, bring your guitar. And he has a Catholic priest, and I still tease him when I see him. I said, play me a tune. He's playing the Eagles. I got 7 women on my mind. And I'm going, wow, that's appropriate. We still laugh at it.
Right. Love him to death.
The humanality of music. What has it done for you over the years?
It's I've
Brings
always
joy
called it,
to you?
I've always called it my therapy. Just
Yeah.
go release on weekends and get to play music and do what I like doing.
Yeah. Brian, take us back to the festivities themselves. What was it like?
As far as the
Induction into the Hall of Fame.
it's great. It's a large crowd that shows up. It means a lot, and to see the musicians that are there, that's a lot too. To go back into the years and look at some of the musicians that have been already inducted, because they all come back unless they're unable to, but they all come back to get up there. And, maybe they're not playing anymore on a regular basis, but that's that one time to come jam with.
It's a fraternity and a sorority at the same time, right?
Pretty much. And I tell you what, everybody enjoys this camaraderie. Everybody talks and talk about the old times, how it was when they started. Because like I said, when I first started playing music, it was odd to me, but you play a song twice.
Yeah.
So you didn't need a real lot of songs because you had to play a song twice.
I remember you
Song
telling
twice.
us that, because I played with you many times now, but y'all would tell me we played a song twice, and of course we have a song list, and I don't like to play songs twice, but you're going, if they said,
back
you're
then
playing
it
that
was.
song again, sometimes
So they stay on the dance floor till you start
they'll
the
stay
song
on the
again.
dance floor.
wow,
Yeah.
man.
And the way this band took off, it's a little weird because we actually started as an acoustic. It was Richard, myself, and Persian.
Right.
And then things started building, from the acoustic, and we said, well, we need to maybe add. That's where the PBR Plus came in, and we got with Corey, and we got with Jody, and it just exploded and took off. But,
So how many singers, how many do
All five.
All
All
five
five
sing
sing.
their own songs?
yeah, we all got our own songs.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got
And
it.
the harmony is unbelievable.
Yeah. What's your favorite, Corey? Favorite song?
Favorite song?
But that's a hard question to answer.
Very hard question.
Because every week it
if
could
it's got a
change.
melody, it's my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good answer. And Jody,
What Corey said, it's hard to pick one out of the hundreds
right.
and thousands.
it's
might
whatever
know.
you're singing, huh?
It's what we're playing at the time, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a couple of Brian's favorites, but
Well, and the big one is it was always mom and dad's favorite. When daddy passed, they did a little thing for him for mom to hang in the house, and it's got Unchained Melody.
yeah, you were always saying that.
Yeah, and that was one of their favorites.
Yeah,
So
no doubt about it. And you did a little Conway Twitty once for my mom. She
Yep.
loves Conway Twitty.
Yep.
And we'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll do another segment with PBR, just inducted into the Westbank Hall of Fame. We'll be right back. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. All right, we are back with PBR, a part of PBR, because two of the other members, one's working and one's a little under the weather today. But nonetheless, we're talking about their induction into the Westbank Hall of Fame. And all you guys, of course, Brian, been knowing you, I guess, longer than anybody. You're a policeman your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But then the switch goes off and you're playing that music. Mm-hmm. And it's just it's a diverse situation for you.
It is.
How are you able to juggle that?
Well, I tell a lot of officers that's what they need to do is find things that you like outside of that scope and get you back to reality. Because being in that field for so long, doing that job for so long, you kind of become almost like a robot,
Yeah.
So you want to kind of de-energize yourself, and playing music to me has always been that relaxation, and where people get to see you on a different term. I think we talked about that, you and I already. Yeah. When you're handling complaints or you're in an emergency type situation, it's a different environment, and it's a stern environment a lot of times, and people, that's the only time they see you. But if they see you outside of that scope and see you relaxed, then they realize that, hey, he's a person just like us, which we are. But it's something that my stress relief. I
remember when your daddy came watch us play one night, and I could, it was later in his life, and he wasn't playing anymore, but you could see his fingers were still, every time his fingers were doing the chords.
That was one of the hardest things for him when that started happening, where the arthritis and everything took control. And when Jimmy Clanton came, remember we did that fundraiser? And they wanted Daddy to play, by all means. He tried. He couldn't play the guitar. He figured he tried the bass, but he couldn't do that either. And he took that hard, because he said, it was the hardest thing is, losing that ability to be able to play.
But he was proud of y'all.
Oh, he was. And he was glad that we kept the tradition going,
Yeah. And Corey, you said you were a session drummer for how many years?
For 22 years.
You saw some acts, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, name some of the people you played session for. Name some of them.
Darryl Singletary, Lee Greenwood, Tito Jackson, C. Chubby Carey, Amanda Shaw.
They all had their different personalities.
All different personalities, yep.
Some laid back, some very, I guess, I want it done this way, exactly this way.
Yeah, you get to see some sights.
But I bet that was it. When did you start in Nashville?
I started that after, let me see, that was about 95. Okay. I took off and stayed on the road. Yeah. 240 days out the year, I stayed on the road.
That's hard, isn't it?
Very hard. You find every McDonald's in the country.
Yeah. Are they different?
The ones overseas are.
Really?
Yeah, I toured 7 countries and 48 states almost every year.
Yeah. And Jody, what's your best moments about music? Who do you enjoy? Who have you played with over the years?
Well, I've played with several bands over the years. Most recently, back in 2010, we formed Voodoo Bayou with friends Kyle Domain, Michael Klaus, Mark Dewey. And as of late, Billy Stark's been playing keyboards with us. We only do just a few shows every year, but it's been great. We've got to do some traveling and doing a lot of original music that Kyle's written and things like that, and recorded a CD or two and got us a few cool gigs, not quite like what Corey's got under his belt, but we got to go to Alabama, North Alabama, Muscle Shoals to Music Row. Yeah. We were featured on that radio and cable TV venue up there, which was pretty sweet.
You mentioned Billy Stark. He could have been a drummer too with all his energy.
Yeah, he just hold on tight and hope for the best.
Would the word unbridled be a good word when you just Billy runs, you just watch Billy run. But no, that's a fantastic achievement. And in music, you got to pay your dues, don't you?
Absolutely.
And it's noticed, but you got to put in the time. And you got to go to the crossroads. And when you're standing up there getting that, installment into the Hall of Fame, and you're looking out and seeing some of them old timers that might be sitting there watching, what does it do to you, Brian?
I mean, and you respect those old timers. That's one thing that you can't forget, respect. They paid their dues. You got to pay yours. And if you listen, they can teach you a lot.
Yeah. And Jody, is this your first Hall of Fame?
It's my first with the band, yes.
Okay, so you must have been super excited.
I was. It was
And
Special
Corey,
day.
you said you in two? You got two individually and as a group?
Right.
Okay. And Brian, that was your second one too?
Yep.
When's going to be the third?
We tried.
Yeah, there you go. Well, all right. So, Brian, I'll let you close it now. Now, Pershing's the founder, huh?
That's correct.
Is he the manager of the
Pershing's
band?
We pretty much all take that part and kind of work together on that. But Pershing is the founder. And like I said, started off with the acoustic with he and I and Richard, and then it just boomed into the band and just blew. I mean, it's unreal. The band just took off.
Yeah.
You know?
And then, of course, Richard, one of the smoothest.
Absolutely.
voice
That's what I learned watching
Like
Richard
butter.
singing wise.
Yeah, like butter, you know. And Richard comes from a long line. Is that Richard's first?
Yes.
I think it is.
Yes.
That's shocking too, because Richard's been around for a long time. Well, look, congratulations.
Thanks
Thank
again,
y'all for
Mark.
joining us.
Appreciate you having us.
And certainly this a big notch for y'all for sure.
Yeah.
And glad to have y'all aboard.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
All
Mark.
right, there you have it. Hall of Fame is right here. We appreciate it. Once again, Pershing Wells couldn't make it, under the weather today, and Richard Toops is on the road. So for the whole crew at HTV, we appreciate them being here. We'll see you again right around the corner. Don't go away. Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.